They're hating it, aren't they?
Not at all, dear. The applause was substantial.
I'd hardly call it that.
Well, it wasn't up to the standard of your play, The Winslow Boys, certainly, but that was exceptional. Nothing could ever equal that. For the interval applause, I mean. They cheered every curtain. Such a night that was. I'm sure this one will be a success, dear. I always trust my lucky champagne cork, see? I still have it.
Of course you do. And it's very sweet of you.
Are you all right? You seem a little out of sorts. They'll come round in the second act. You'll see.
Would you care for a drink?
Oh, no, thank you. But you have one, dear.
I will shortly.
Are you giving a first night party?
Yes.
Oh, that's grand. Who's going?
Rex and Kay, Johnny Gielgud, Cuthbert, Jean Dornay, the usual crowd.
And Margaret Leighton?
Yes, of course. Obviously the cast are all going.
All right, dear.
Sorry. Didn't mean to snap. Yes, Margaret and all the cast are coming. Plus Hugh Beaumont, the producer, and various others.
Isn't he the one they call Binky?
I believe so, yes.
Such an odd nickname. Binky.
You know theatre people have their little ways, idiosyncrasies. Anyway, I doubt it'll be much of a celebration.
Have you fallen out with Margaret?
No. Why?
I think you'd make a splendid couple. She's such a beauty and you're so handsome and debonair.
Not that again, Mother.
You need to settle down, dear. You don't want to be a dreadful dyed-in-the-wool old bachelor forever.
Is that so terrible?
Well, it would just be a pity. You've got so much to offer, Terence. I don't want to see you wasting your life away.
Wasting it? Mother, really?
And you do like Margaret Leighton, I know you do.
Yes, I do. She is a very glamorous, delightful lady, and I'm very fond of her.
Oh, I told you so.
But being so glamorous and delightful, she has many admirers. And I like to surround myself with plenty of friends, rather than commit to one person who would tire of me very quickly, and I of them.
You don't do yourself justice. I'm sure she'd accept you straight away if you asked her.
This is a pointless conversation.
And there's always Jean. She's very attractive.
Yes, Mother, Jean is beautiful and charming, a Dior model and a wonderful hostess.
Well, what more do you want?
Indeed. I'm spoilt for choice.
You know what someone told me the other day, a fellow resident at the hotel, that you would know Ladies' Man. Well, I thought that would be rather a good idea, not to have you chasing round after women all the time like your father. But she said it with such a sneer, as if she was quite scoring a point against me. Dreadful woman. She kept making reference to people like Cecil Beaton and, who did the costumes, Margaret's costumes for this?
Norman Hartnett.
Oh, yes. He's the one. She made some really quite offensive remarks. I had to ring your secretary.
You had to do what?
Nice girl, very well spoken.
Mother, what did you ring Mary for?
Well, to ask what that ghastly woman, Mrs. Willington Smith, was talking about her. Such a tongue she has on her, always wagging away about someone or other. No, I believe she can be really quite malicious when she puts her mind to it. Just because her husband left most of his money to his estranged daughter in America, she seems to think she has the right to be unpleasant about people.
What did Mary say?
Oh, she quite put my mind at rest. She said she clearly meant that you were dedicated to your career and nothing else. And you are, dear. You work extremely hard. You always have.
I see.
And writing plays and books is not so very far removed from designing costumes and hats and so on, is it? I mean, well, I know they're very different, but they're both artistic pursuits, aren't they? Well, you know what I mean. And, well, artistic people never know whether the next job is going to be successful, whether it's going to be popular. It's not like working in a bank or somewhere like that?
No, Mother. It's nothing like working in a bank.
And you do throw lots of parties, though, don't you? That's one area where I feel perhaps you could be a little more circumspect, a little less extravagant.
I bet my parties aren't a patch on yours in Berlin and Constantinople and wherever else.
Well, those were different. They were part of the job, and your father and I weren't footing the bill. Mind you, he was every bit as bad as you in other ways. Spent money like water, without a thought for tomorrow.
Mother, is this a lecture? Because if so, could we please postpone it till the end of the performance?
I wish you cared about your father more. A son should try to care for both his parents, not just one. Don't misunderstand me, Terry, darling. I know that I'm tremendously appreciative of all that you've done for me.
I am not prepared to discuss this. You know my feelings on the subject. He took you for a fool, and that was unforgivable.
The curtain's about to go up again.
Thank you, Cathy.
Try not to have unkindness in your heart, Terence. You're a dear, dear boy, but you don't understand everything.
Mother, please. Cuthbert, would you be so kind as to show Mother to her seat?
It would be a pleasure. Aren't you going to join us?
I think not.
The mood is very positive downstairs.
Oh.
Very positive.
It's kind of you to say so, Cathy. But there is no denying that the public's tastes have changed. I have no desire to hear them baying for my blood. I shall go to the bar.
I'd have thought this was a pleasant change from all that dreary stuff at the Royal Court. Anyway, it'll all pass over. People will soon tire of looking at kitchen sinks and ironing boards as a means of entertainment.
I wouldn't count on it.
And the critics will tire of them too. I exclude myself from that description, Mrs. R, for the purpose of this conversation. I have not joined in the chorus of gushing praise for what they call the new wave of British dramatists.
Oh, how commendable of you, Cuthbert.
Those boringly earnest young men may have plenty to say, but they have no wit and little skill. And I fear that this audience would rather be at one of their stupendously and uninspiring little dramas. Excuse me.
I do wonder sometimes if Terence doesn't put too much of himself into his work.
Yeah, I think you're undoubtedly right.
I do so want him to be happy, generally, in life, I mean. I know I nag him about marriage, but it's only because I want him to think about that side of things, even if it's only to decide that he finally can't face it. I often wonder, you know, if Frank and I have been a bad influence on him with our own marital relationship. You understand, Cuthbert?
I do, and I'm sure you have no cause for concern there.
Thank you. It's very kind of you to say so. Do you think it will affect him badly if this play gets poor reviews?
He's had less than flattering reviews before.
Yes, but this isn't a good time for him now, is it?
No, indeed. He is somewhat below par.
Well,
That's the second bell.
a mother must do what she can. She must always be there, come what may.
An admirable thought, Mrs. R. An admirable thought. And the same applies to a long-standing friend. Shall we?
Personally, I can't wait to see what happens in Act 2, and I'm sure Margaret Leighton will have another splendid gown.
Mr. Rattigan is out of form. So said the Daily Telegraph. A shoddy, novelettish romance, said some other paper. And Kenneth Tynan thought the star of the show was Norman Hartnell. He couldn't see much real acting going on at all. So much for variation on a theme. The reviews were some of the worst of my career. I started to become old that night. The mask began to crack. And to add insult to injury, a young girl from Manchester who saw the play on tour decided she could do much better and wrote a script which she sent to Joan Littlewood at Stratford East. Sheila Delaney's play opened there 3 weeks after mine opened in the West End. It was called A Taste of Honey. To me, it was a smack in the face.